What's up, guys? It's a little later in the evening. I figured I'd read y'all chapter 8 because kind of chilled at the moment, so I figured I'm gonna give it a try and see how well I do. So here we go. Having a one-handed grip on the hose, I stood over the pool watching the water flow in. My body was so beat from the sun that it was nearly impossible to keep from falling over. I flicked my wrist watching the water turn into large droplets, splashing into the pool below. I thought to myself of how nice it must be to come home every day and just dive in. Once again, a luxury I never was offered as a child. Lost in my own thoughts, I heard heavy footing nearing me against the concrete. "Happy birthday, faggot!" Trent announced, tucking me under his arm, dragging us both into the pool. I came up gasping, frantically trying to clear my airway from the water I had just guzzled. I must have been so lost in my own problematic world that I had forgotten my own birthday. What a damn shame. "Thanks, asshole," I said between breaths. "So, Bree invited us over again to celebrate your birthday. Her parents out of town for the weekend. It is going to be so much fun. I'm stoked." "Yeah, me too." Just as we were climbing out of the pool, Trenton's father came rounding the corner of the house, shaking his head. "All right, numbnuts. Do you need a can, the both of yous?" "No, sir," Trent and I synchronized. "Then stop dicking off and finish up. We're about done." "So anyway, Johnny has some party favors he said he's bringing. He pled that you try your best to not getting your ass kicked again beforehand." I gave him a playful shove, watching him gracefully catch his balance, nearly landing in the pool once again. I was actually pretty excited to find out what all was going to happen at this party. I was glad I didn't have to worry about Charlie's ass showing up with his asshole friends either. After finalizing that everything had been completed, Trenton took me home so I can get cleaned up for the night. I found my parents sitting in the living room, talking quietly amongst each other. "Happy birthday, son. I got you something. It's in there on the counter." I followed my father's finger and saw the top of a bottle barely peeking over the nook. As I entered the kitchen, a flask and an unopened bottle of Jack came into view. What else could I expect from an alcoholic? "Thanks, Dad." I cleared my throat. My mother just gave me a warm birthday hugging, which was enough for me. I hauled the bottle and flask off into my bedroom, throwing it into my book bag. Indecisive to look for my facial hair, I cleaned up, just leaving a mustache attaching my goatee. I figured that was a casual enough look to keep on my face. Besides, ladies really seem to dig guys with a beard. I used my index finger and thumb to feel its softness, tugging at the whiskers on my chin. I am now 20 years old, but have been growing a full beard since I was 15. Boy, do I love being Italian and Polish. I wanted to look decent tonight, most importantly for Tiffany. I scrounged about until finding my nicest pair of jeans and a black button-down. The damn thing was missing a few buttons and was short in the arms. I must have forgotten that was in which part of my Sunday apparel when I was younger. I ripped it off in frustration, almost at a loss, when the idea of texting Trenton for help popped into my head. When he came to pick me up, he had a few articles of clothing for me to choose from. I knew he'd come in handy since Trenton never goes anywhere without looking impressionable. He has always saved me from a wardrobe malfunction. No homo. While I finished spiking up my hair, Trenton was in my room, laying out some outfits across the top of my bed. "Okay, birthday boy, we want you looking spiffy, especially if you're planning on getting laid tonight." He winked. He stood back, letting me decide. I glanced at his attire, which consisted of a white cotton v-neck, whitewashed jeans, and dress shoes. I decided on a pair of denim jeans with holes manufactured into the thread, and a black, no-name v-neck. "Nice choice. Now get dressed and let's go." On the ride over to Bree's house, I pulled out the bottle of Jack to show Trent. "Look at what I've got." "Oh, shit. Did you break into Dad's liquor cabinet?" He laughed. "No, actually, it was his gift to me. A flask came with it too, but I doubt I'll ever use it." Damn, that's a whole 750 milliliter bottle. Amongst everything else, we're literally going to be fucked up. I'm quite sure you also find time to use that flask. Pulling up to Bree's house, there were about several cars parked outside. I saw Tiff's and Johnny's vehicles parked by others I didn't recognize. Who else supposed to be here? I asked timidly. Besides us, just a few of Bree's friends from school. It's gonna be fine, man. I promise. Charlie has no idea we are here, and he doesn't know Bree. So stop being a pussy and let's go have some fun. Walking around the back of the house, I saw a bunch of neon lights surrounding the pool that instantly captivated my attention. Tables were set up with tons of alcohol lining their surface. Girls in bikinis were hanging around the pool or swimming within it, and large speakers were set up on the patio, and a handmade banner with my name on it clung above the back door, wishing me a happy birthday. I've never had anyone do this kind of thing for me, so I didn't really know how to handle it. Losing my train of thought, I spotted Tiffany lying out on a lounge chair, bearing a red Solo cup. She was busy talking with Colton while they smoked a bowl. Hey, brother. I hope you're ready to reach the stars, baby. I looked up to see Johnny in his board shorts getting ready to jump into the pool from the rooftop. We cheered him on as he made a huge splash with his cannonball. In the meantime, Bree greeted me with a drink, showing me where everything was. I really appreciate you doing all of this for me. It means a lot. Oh, it is no problem. Trent really cares about you. I can tell when he brought up the idea. Trent pressed his lips together with an innocent shrug. Not being able to keep away much longer, I excused myself, heading over to where Tiffany was. Once her eyes met mine, she smiled invitingly. I admired the white sundress she was wearing, along with the two small braids that pulled her hair back. She looked like a flower child for sure, but in a sense, I found that quite sexy. Hey, handsome. Come, get a taste of your birthday love, she smiled. And pulled me in the back of my head for a hard, passionate kiss. As my tongue entered her mouth, I instantly tasted liquor. Tequila drinker, eh? I admit, only on certain occasions. Now get you something to drink because the fun is yet to begin. She smacked my ass. I stood before the table covered in alcohol, trying to decide on what to start with. I noticed a small bowl that looked to be filled with deformed meatballs. And when I picked it up to examine it, I realized it was a bowl full of marijuana nuggets. Holy shit. I laughed to myself. Finally reaching a verdict, I decided on pouring myself a glass of gin and tonic. Afterwards, advancing back to where everyone was commuting. It was about an hour before Johnny got everyone's attention to reveal what he had brought to share. Alright, listen up, you crazy fucks. I have my connections, as we all know. I got in touch with someone who was trustworthy enough for me to deal with. He introduced me to a little something called Molly. I'm sure you've all heard of it before. Let me just say, it is like a form of ecstasy. It will relax you, make you unwind, turn you on, hell, maybe even fuck you up. Though, I will not force anyone into trying it. Just know it is within your own discretion. For a moment, we all looked at each other wondering who had the balls to do it first. I raised my hand, and after that everyone seemed to follow suit. And that's what I'm talking about. There's one for everyone. Now this is going to be rather interesting, Trent laughed. Tiffany placed hers in her mouth, pulling me in for a kiss. I felt the pill roll into my mouth, dissolving on my tongue. It was a bitter taste, leaving me down to drink just about everything within reach just to wash it down. I placed mine on the tip of her tongue, watching her mouth clamp down around my index finger. She sucked at it with a sensual interest, narrowing her eyes. I closed my slowly just to embrace the sensation. It took about 15 minutes before everyone became real touchy-feely. I found myself gripping the shit out of my own legs, just grinding my teeth together. Colton pulled the neon straw from underneath his beanie, offering it in my direction. Hey, you're gonna need this. There's plenty more inside on the kitchen counter. What does this do? It satisfies your need for an oral fixation and refrains you from cracking your teeth from gritting them so hard. Your jaw will be sore as fuck tomorrow from the strenuous amount of clenching, but it'll be worth it. Yeah, didn't you know? Colton does all the research, Jacoby laughed. Holy shit, where have you been? I pulled him in for a hug. You know, around, he smiled. The more I drank, the more the drug intensified. I had to have gnawed through at least several straws within the last 30 minutes. Tiffany sat in a daze, tracing her fingers up and down her bare thighs, unknowingly making my dick hard. I needed something to do with my hands, other than massaging my own legs, casually causing unnecessary soreness. I got up and swiped up that bowl of pot that was just lying out in the open. I grinded up 2 grams and rolled them into blunts while everyone else was hitting the bong, taking shots, dancing aimlessly to dubstep techno music, practically fucking all over the pool deck. I felt myself lining my teeth with my tongue while taking deep breaths, twitching and tightening up all of my muscles. Once I'd finished rolling some green, I smelled smoke. Following in its direction, I found Colton and Jacoby wearing gas masks fused with large neon funnels attached to the bong. It was the most ingenious creation for smoking pot that I had ever fucking seen. They were laughing and having a good time, mentally flying miles from the earth. I lit the end of my recently rolled blunt as Tiffany immediately gained coherence with climbing on top of me. She slid her sunglasses from the top of her head, placing them on my face. "I want to fuck you. Just like this," she whispered. Apparently nobody else cared about what anyone else was doing. 2 of Bree's girlfriends from school were hardcore making out in the pool, and I was pretty sure that that wasn't the only thing that had them wet either. Honestly, no morals, no self-control at that time. Allowing Tiffany to undo my jeans, she pulled my rigid member completely out. Her bottom jaw dropped as she rose, her sundress just enough to enlighten me on the fact that she had nothing on underneath. I let her slide me in, feeling her nails dig into my shoulders while trying to adjust to my size. I moved us down onto the patio's deck, letting her fuck the shit out of me while unleashing my inner fantasies. I lied on my back in a trance, listening to some crazy techno music that took me to another place. Looking up into the night sky, I watched the twinkling stars form a kaleidoscope as Tiffany did her thing. She moved forever, so it seemed, fucking me like she hated me until she fell limp against my chest. It was impossible for either of us to climax. The effects from the molly were just too intense. Tiffany sat up, lifting my shirt, pressing her nails deeper into my chest. I let out a ferocious groan while she continued riding me even harder than before. Lifting her hips, I pounded into her as hard as I could while on my back. And damn, did she take it like a champ. "Fuck, I just want to come already," she moaned. "I know, baby, I'm trying," I gritted my teeth. The erosion of a hard orgasm had my toes curled up inside my shoes nearly to the point of cramping. I held Tiff down into me, pressing myself inside as far as I can go. Drawing my head to her chest, holding her breath, she embraced the release well longed for. Finally, I fell to my back. Never in my life had I had the extremity of an orgasm until this very night, and as much as it hurt, it felt amazing at the same time. It was around midnight and everyone was still rolling, completely fucked up out of our minds. Trent and Bree lie poolside talking to Johnny while he floated on a blow-up raft, sweet-talking those girls from earlier. Colton and Jacoby were passed the fuck out in some lawn chairs a few feet away from Tiff and I. Suddenly, something in my subconscious had me get up to go gaze into the water. As I took my shirt off, I was entirely mesmerized by the inner pool lights, like they were some sort of orb masking a portal to a hidden place. As soothing and placid as the water sat within its structure, I had to get inside and feel it on my skin. I dropped my jeans, kicking them off along with my shoes falling in face first. I lay there atop the water for a moment, holding my breath, just staring into one of the light fixtures. I saw Tiffany dive in, swimming towards me. She didn't look concerned. She just grabbed me by the face with a kiss. We eventually sank to the bottom, swimming around like we were sea creatures of some sort, gliding around one another, enjoying the tranquil enigma of the water. It felt like a lifetime that we had held our breath underwater before coming up for air. This was probably the best birthday I've ever had. For once, I didn't have to think about reality or the problems I faced day to day. It was like a therapeutic, out-of-body experience I was offered that cleansed the built-up cobwebs. Tiffany was ready to take her sexual frustration back to her place, so we gathered up our shit, thanking everyone before heading out. Making it through the door, we proceeded to shred the clothing from one another. We went in like rabbits for hours, And in that time, Tiffany became exceedingly aggressive, slightly expressing her want to take things further. "Chuck me," she whispered. I was hesitant because the only person I got that way with was Nikki. "Tiff, you have no idea how dangerous I can be," I darkly responded. "I want you to know that I want to know. I want you to show me just how fucked up you are." I sat forward, gripping the back of her hair. She sighed, pressing my lips to her neck. I cupped her breast with my other hand, sinking my teeth, and I nearly lost my inhibition when Tiff bit me back, sinking her teeth into my shoulder. In response, I smacked her, squeezing it within my palm, driving myself deeper inside of her. She took my hand, placing it to her throat. "Don't be a little bitch, Mally. I see it in your eyes. Your everlasting thirst and harboring desire to tear my ass apart. Why pause at the opportunity? Because I'm a fucking monster," I growled, slamming her down, gaining control as I took her hands up above her head to press them down into a pillow. She clenched both legs around my waist, letting me pound into her over and over again like a wild animal. Clutching my throat tightly within her grasp, she attempted to cut off my airway. I tested myself just to see how much self-control I had by letting her continue. The more she squeezed, the harder I rammed her, choking me until I nearly blacked out. She clawed at my back, tearing skin with her other hand. The burning sensation brought back violent memories, forcing me to halt right away before I completely lost myself. "No, stop," I growled, backing off, falling against the dresser behind me. Tiff sat up almost in fear. "Malice, what the fuck? Are you okay?" "Just give me a minute, please." I bent over, pressing my hands into my knees, catching my breath before I crawled back into bed. We lied in a comfortable silence for a long moment, with her curiosity ringing loudly in my ears. It took only moments before she dared to ask me about what just happened. I rolled into my side, reaching for her lamp so I could see her face. "Are you sure that you want to know?" "Yes." That kind of freaked me out. "I just want an explanation." I started getting myself comfortable against her headboard. Back when I was 15, I started dating Nikki in high school. We were both really young when we started having sex. Of course, it ended up being unprotected most of the time. Well, she ended up pregnant when we were 16. We didn't know what to do about it, but eventually our parents found out. Her mom and dad both were going to force her into having an abortion since they didn't approve of me and the family that I came from. She always swore up and down that I ended up being an abusive alcoholic just like my father. Not too long after that, one day at school, Nikki came crying to me outside during our lunch period. When I asked her what was wrong, she told me that she had a miscarriage while using the restroom. She was terribly sick for a few days afterwards, too. We both cried. And I mean, I never fucking cried. But seeing her messed up like that broke my heart. So when did this uncertainty with forceful play surface? She raised an eyebrow. I'm gonna continue this on another recording. Give me a sec.